What is the strategic importance of Donbas? It is a very important coal mining and industrial hub underpinning Ukraine's economy. It is a symbolic battleground. Since 2014, most of the deadly fighting between Ukraine and Russia has occurred here. Holding or ceding Donbas directly impacts Ukraine's defense depth and influences Western security guarantees. Owing to its location, control over Donbas provides access to transport corridors and proximity to Russia's southern border. Russia uses the region as a leverage to block Ukraine's NATO aspirations and to extract concessions and peace talks. Now, part of the fight over the Donbas has to do with its complex conflict-ridden history. At one time, the Donbas used to be seen as the pro-Russian region. Many of the 6.7 million residents spoke only Russian and no Ukrainian. And 9 out of 10 people voted for a pro-Russian President, Viktor Yanukovych. And in 2010. But all that changed. In 2014, Russia seized Crimea and backed rebels who took a third of Donbas. The previous president had to leave Ukraine. In 2015, Minsk agreement gave special status to Donbas area, but sovereignty disputes stalled its implementation. Initially open to autonomy for peace, President Zelenskyy did a U-turn after Russia's 2022 invasion. Today, it is the biggest symbol of Ukraine's resistance to Russia's annexation. Now in 2025, the future of Donbas is again uncertain after Putin reportedly demanded it to be handed to Russia during his meeting with Trump. Putin's demand for Donbas will pose a major challenge for any mediation effort. Putin demanded that Ukrainian forces withdraw from Donetsk as part of any ceasefire deal and said he would be prepared to stop fighting on the rest of the front line if Kyiv gave in to the demand. Many in the United States of America believe that these land swaps are beneficial for Ukraine because Donbas will fall soon, and then Ukraine will have no cards for further negotiations. Most Ukrainians still oppose ceding any territory to Russia, and polls are indicative. And as per the Russian constitution, it prohibits surrendering land. Now the question that emerges is, Ukraine wants NATO-like protection, but Russia started the war in Donbas a decade ago in part to block Kyiv's path to NATO. Why would Russia allow serious security guarantees now? So the big question is, will Zelenskyy cede Donbas and risk unpopularity in Ukraine? Can Zelenskyy be replaced by another leader? Does security assurance matter in Ukraine? What are the hard options available for Ukraine? And how long can Russia afford a war in Ukraine? Can Russia afford another Afghanistan? So on this issue, I'm joined by Julia Krill, Executive Director, BNK Agency. She's live from Italy. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining me. I'm joined by Ambassador Deepak Vora, former Indian diplomat. Thank you so much, sir. And Major General Dr. Rajan Kochar, Strategy and Defense Expert. Thank you so much, sir. Let me straight away go to Julia Krill. Do you think that road to peace passes through Donbas, madam?
Hi, hello. Indeed, Donbas is the key aspect of the war. As you mentioned before, it's the primary landline through which all of the troops are passing, where the fighting is happening. It is also the place with the richest resources and coal mines that Russia and Ukraine can each use for their economy, for growth of their economy. But Russia is also using Donbas as a way to promote the Russian peace. It is the key territory that was a part of historical territory called Malorossia, which includes Kharkiv, Zaporizhia, Kherson, Odessa. And this is the ideological way for Russia to keep going and occupying the rest of Ukraine, because in Russia's opinion, Ukraine does not exist as a country. However, Donbas today is also a big point that divides East and West in Ukraine, and is a determining point for Ukraine's joining EU and NATO. Because as a country with an occupied territory where war is happening, Ukraine cannot yet join EU, and NATO is the key demand. Joining NATO is the key demand for Russia to continue the negotiations and to find peace. Also, Russia can put all of their troops in Donbas and in the future continue moving forward into the country and occupying the rest of Ukraine, passing all the way to the border with Poland. So it is indeed a key strategic point. I doubt that Ukrainian people will agree to it, but it all depends on the security guarantees. It all depends on the involvement of United States, of NATO countries, of European Union to make sure that Russian troops are withdrawn from Donbas, and there are severe sanctions and consequences if Russian troops put foot in Donbas again.
Okay, Ambassador Vora, one, why Donbas matters so much to Putin? That's one, sir. And my second question to you is, do these security guarantees matter? I mean to say, Ukraine long time ago gave up its nuclear arsenal. No one helped Ukraine when Russians invaded them. I mean to say, as an outsider, these guarantees look meaningless.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm delighted to be, as always, on your show, along with General Saab and our colleague from Ukraine. I'm in Leh, in Ladakh, and the flights have been cancelled for the last 48 hours, so I'm enjoying spending every moment with His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. Some of his senior monks wanted a briefing on Ukraine, would you believe it? Now, I'll answer your question very bluntly. You know, history has a strange way of playing around. What happened that Russia gets clobbered, the Tsar gets clobbered in the mid-19th century by Britain and Canada and France and the Ottoman Empire. And then he decides to sell Alaska to the Americans for $7 million or something. And he decides to modernize his army. And modernizing his army, he finds that the Donbas region has massive reserves of coal, etc. In fact, it was the first part of Mother Russia, as far as they are concerned, to be industrialized. He's not going to give it up, the Tsar. Thereafter, sir, and this is fascinating, as Putin is flying into Alaska, which had been sold, he sees about 80 Orthodox Russian churches, including a cathedral that is 250 years old. What do you think goes through his mind? Guys, this was mine. Russia is accused of grabbing territory. I have no brief for Russia. Russia has been losing territory. It lost the Crimea, lost Alaska over a period of time. And now, of course, people are talking all kinds of things. So the Donbas for Russia is vital. And then so it has a lot of mineral resources. It has all those rare earths, etc., that are required. And ma'am, let me tell you about Donald Trump. The deal was struck in Alaska that American companies and Russian companies will jointly explore those resources. As far as the security guarantee is concerned, I don't know what that means, other than that it joins NATO. Do you really believe that anybody cares about what happens to the Donbas region? Do you think the Europeans really care? Will they risk confrontation with Russia? Will they risk a nuclear war over Donbas? What have they got to gain?